All right, so we're getting ready to establish a grab line, which in theory is a zip line from a lateral perspective that progresses across the river. The application for these is that we've got a large vessel with multiple parties that's lost control. All the parties are in the water. We don't have enough boat capacity to do specific boat-based pickups on all those people. We want to put this in as a redundancy in case they can't receive throw bags, or if the width of the river is so broad that we can't get throw bags out to them. So in this application, we're heading downriver from the event. We're establishing this from shore. Today, we're going to use some boat-based applications to deploy the line and ferry the line, but you can also use line launchers and messenger lines to go ahead and wreck this. So what we're looking for is about a 45-degree angle. That 45-degree angle needs to have a high string tie-off on the upriver side of a tree or a suitable anchor upriver. You're then going to deflect down roughly 45 degrees to the near bank or the side where you have the personnel to receive the victims. So the most approachable area for your EMS, for your helos, for whatever sort of support operations you're going to need for those victims, that's going to be the receiving bank for all of your victims coming downriver. We're going to do that high string tie-off. The boat's going to ferry that line over to this side. They're going to pass that rope bag over to this group, which is your shore-based operational group. They're establishing an anchor point right now. You want it on a tree that's going to allow you to receive the victims fully. We're going to put an MPD on this anchor strap. We're going to rig in a 3-to-1 with a rescue sender or a Gibbs ascender. As soon as they get that line, they'll rig it in and they're going to tension it. When we tension that track line, we want to tension it up as much as possible without over tensioning it. So this isn't a high line application in vertical rope, but we do want the rope taut. If we don't get it tight enough, then it's going to vector and deflect really bad when victims load it, especially in significant current. And there's going to be kind of a sticking point where they'll end up downriver from this anchor point and they won't move anymore. That's why it's so critical that you got to have about a 45-degree deflection. If you do this laterally across the river, they'll grab, they'll vector down, and they'll more or less be stuck. Once we get that line tensioned up, the MPD is going to mine the progress of what we've applied to the track line. We're going to remove the mechanical advantage components. We're going to do a lock-off tie-off on the MPD and set the parking brake. That's then going to give us full travel all the way to the hub. At that point, we hang stringers or handles on the track line. So we're going to put carabiners on the track line, and we're going to hang handles with prusik or webbing components. You want this track line to be within easy reach of the victims coming down river. So don't hang it too high and don't hang it so low that all your handles are drifting down river. You want your handles to be just bobbing just above the water line. As those victims come down to grab those handles, try and coach them to grab it with their inside hand. So if they're coming down river in this application, they're going to be grabbing those handles with their left hand. Grabbing with their left hand is going to naturally articulate their head towards this bank, setting a good ferry angle so that current helps push them down the zip line all the way into the receiving shore. So we can see here that our boat-based team has approached an upriver anchor. They're establishing a high string tie-off on the upriver side of that tree. Remember, you need at least 3 wraps in your high string tie-offs. You're going to put more coils or wraps on the anchor as needed based on the diameter of the anchor. It's important that you test it before you leave that anchor. So apply some significant tension to it. Make sure that the bottom coils tighten up, but ensure that your loading line is carrying all the load. Ensure that the bite and the carabiner, as you attach it back on that primary line, don't get loaded. All right, so the boat is ferrying across. They're playing out that track line. They're using the middle control man. He wants to try and keep that rope out of the water as much as possible. And make sure you keep that in the middle so that we don't articulate the boat or impact the ferry angle negatively. The boat's going to continue to drift this side with a good ferry. Once they get close to this side, they're going to hold position on the boat. They're going to get downriver from us, and they're going to throw that rope bag onto the shore. Got it. Go downriver. Let go of the rope, guys. Clear the rope. Ensure that that rope clears above the boat line. We don't want that rope caught up in the prop. Once the boat is clear of the line, then we can take the line, get it rigged into our MPD.
was going to trap around.
An easy trick is to take this high side of the rope. Give me some slack.
Come around this side?
Yep, there you go. Bite it down across the tree. That's going to hold it in position. That also gives you a slack point on the back side to go ahead and rig in your MPD. All right, once you bring out all your coils, make sure your rope is straight, clean, and neat and that you've loaded it properly. Check the load diagram. Make sure that the track line itself is the loaded portion and that you got the pull section headed back here. We're going to go ahead and build in our mechanical advantage. You can stay shore-based with ratchet cams like the Gibbs Ascender and just do a lot of resets to get this plate up into place. You can also pull manually initially to speed up some of that process. You guys go ahead and capture progress here. I'm going to start pulling manually. Okay, guys, going to rig in the pulley. We're going to attach a carabiner. We'll get the ascender on here. Once we're in position, we'll set this out as far as we can get it. Okay, tension. Stop. Great thing about the MPD, it minds itself. Slack. Tension. Okay, once you got the line tensioned and up into place, a good field rule of thumb so that you don't over tension this is with a 3-to-1 application, we're going to utilize just 1 to 2 haulers, no more than that. You put 5 guys on this, you can easily overload the rope, especially when they start carrying load. Once we got it tensioned in place, we're going to remove our mechanical advantage. Go ahead and unrig that pulley. Ascender. Now we're going to do a lock-off tie-off, set the parking brake. Now we're ready to hang our stringers. So we're going to put carabiners on here. Steel tends to work better than aluminum. Aluminum is a softer metal, has a higher tendency to grab. The steel has a better tendency to slide. Once we get these on, we're going to launch them out as far as we can by hand so that our boat that's going to ferry them across can stay away from the bank. Okay, so we've got our track line established. We have our grab handles established. We want to make sure that we have primary and backup boats downriver from this objective, as well as throwers. So we've created lots of redundancies and multiple applications to pick up this magnitude of victims that are coming downriver towards us. All right, so when we DC our zip lines, we're going to undo our lock-off tie-off, remove all our stringers or handles, then we're going to start to release tension. As we release tension, the current's going to catch the rope, it's going to start to take it downriver. As soon as we have enough slack on it, pulling back, we're going to DC the MPD from this keeper carabiner. Then we're going to start to ferry out away from the bank. We're going to drift downriver from the rope until we see a straight line on the surface of the water going from the nose of the boat up to the anchor. At that point, we're going to start to motor upriver with lots of control while we pull rope into the boat and make our way up to our high-strength tie-off. You have to ensure that the rope does not end up under the boat or get caught up in the prop. Okay, DC the MPD. Hold the boat, guys, real tight. Okay, Sarah, drift down. Good. Go ahead and motor us up.